All right, come on in, pull up a chair. Welcome to the session. Look, today we're gonna stop guessing and we're gonna start choosing. We're talking compressors. Yeah, the most crucial and, let's be honest, often the most confusing tool in our entire arsenal. But really, it all just boils down to picking the right tool for the right job.
And this is the big question, isn't it? You open up your plugin folder and bam, it's just this wall of options. You've got your FETs, your VCAs, your opticals, they all look different, and trust me, they all sound different. Just grabbing one at random, it's like trying to hammer a nail with a screwdriver. I mean, you might get it in there, but it's not going to be pretty.
So, here's what we're gonna do. Forget the textbooks for a few minutes. You're my assistant today. We're gonna tackle a real mix and solve it problem by problem. And for each one, I'm gonna hand you the perfect tool for the job. You ready? Let's get to work. Okay, first, let's just make sure we're on the same page. At its very core, a compressor is just a super fast automatic volume fader. That's it. When a sound gets too loud, it turns it down. And that simple action lets us shrink the gap between the loudest screams and the quietest whispers, making everything feel more consistent, more present.
Every great mix is built on a solid foundation, and you know what that means? The drums. So let's start there. Okay, so listen to this snare drum. Hear that? The hits are, well, they're all over the place. Some are kind of weak, others are jumping out and smacking you in the face. So our job is twofold. First, we gotta control those wild peaks, but we also wanna make it hit harder. We wanna give it this aggressive, in-your-face punch that really drives the track. For a job like this, you need two things, speed and attitude. And that is the job of a FET, that's a field effect transistor, compressor. These things are legendary for their lightning-fast reaction time. I mean, they can grab a transient almost instantly. But here's the cool part. They don't just control it, they add this awesome, gritty, colorful distortion that just gives the sound so much energy and life. And that's exactly it. A FET is not about being subtle, you know? It's a character piece. When you need that forward, punchy sound that makes a drum feel like it's literally jumping out of the speakers, you reach for a FET. It is the perfect tool for an aggressive performance. Okay, so the snare is hitting hard, which is great. But now, the whole kit, it kind of sounds like a bunch of separate instruments just happening to play in the same room. It doesn't feel like a single cohesive unit yet. We need to bring everything together, add that famous glue, but, and this is key, without piling on more of that gritty distortion we just dialed in.
So for this, we need a totally different tool. Let's grab a VCA, a voltage-controlled amplifier compressor. Now, VCAs are the absolute workhorses of the studio. They're known for being clean, for being precise, and totally predictable. They give you this surgical control over your dynamics without really messing with the tone at all. That's why they're so perfect for gluing groups of instruments together.
So here's the crucial point, right? We just used two very different compressors to solve two very different drum problems. The FET gave us that aggressive punch and character on the individual snare. The VCA gave us clean, transparent cohesion for the entire drum bus. See what I mean? Right tool, right job.
All right, the drums are locked in, feeling good. Let's move on to, well, probably the most important part of any mix, the vocal. And here it is, the classic vocal dilemma. The performance goes from a delicate whisper to a full-on scream. Now, if we use one compressor to clamp down hard enough to catch those screams, it's going to absolutely crush the quiet parts into a lifeless pancake. But if we set it just for the whispers, those loud parts are going to be totally overpowering and all the intimacy gets lost in the mix. So part of our solution is a tool that has a much gentler touch, the Optical or Opto compressor. These are pretty cool. They actually work using a little light bulb and a sensor inside. Because it's a physical process, its reaction is naturally slower, it's smoother, and it's incredibly musical. It's not really for catching those fast peaks, but it's fantastic for adding warmth and just a general sense of leveling.
And this is exactly why engineers love them on vocals. They kind of have this set-and-forget quality that just sounds good. You can't really make an opto sound harsh or bad. It just adds this warm, silky character that helps a vocal feel natural and round. But it's still too slow to solve our whole problem on its own. So here's the pro move. It's called serial compression. It's a divide and conquer strategy. Think of it like a sports team, okay? First, we use our fast FET compressor as the goalie. Its only job is to instantly block the loudest, wildest peaks and keep them from getting through. Then, once the goalie's done its job, the signal flows to our smooth optical compressor.
The Opto acts as the general manager, gently raising the overall level and consistency of the whole team, without ever getting slammed by those crazy peaks. The result? A perfectly controlled vocal that still sounds dynamic and, most importantly, alive. Okay, so the drums are tight, the vocal is sitting perfectly right on top. Now it's time to zoom out and look at the whole mix, the big picture. So we listen back, and it sounds good, but it doesn't sound like a record yet. You know that feeling? It feels more like a collection of well-mixed parts, not a single unified song. It's just missing that final, expensive-sounding polish that makes everything feel like it belongs together. For that final magic touch, we bring in the master, the Vari-Mu compressor. Now, these are the oldest designs, using actual vacuum tubes to do the work, and that's what gives them their signature sound, this rich, warm, almost creamy harmonic character. They're slow, they're gentle, and they're designed specifically to add that final layer of cohesion and depth to a full mix. And that right there is the key. A Vari-Mu doesn't use an iron fist like our FET compressor did. It handles the entire mix musically, gently tucking everything into place. It's not for surgical fixes, it's for adding that final, luxurious feel that just tells the listener, hey, this is a finished record. And there you have it. A mix, solved one problem at a time. So let's just recap everything into a simple little cheat sheet that you can use on your own sessions. Here we go, the 4 main food groups of compression. First up, the FET, like a classic 1176. Its character is aggressive and punchy. It's best for things like individual drums and rock vocals. Next, the VCA. Think of an SSL bus compressor. Its character is clean and transparent. It's your go-to for gluing together groups and the entire mix bus. Then we have the optical compressor, like the famous LA2A. Its sound is smooth and musical, just ideal for gentle leveling on vocals and bass. And finally, the Vari-Mu, like the legendary Fairchild 670. Its character is rich and gluey, and it's the ultimate tool for adding that warmth and cohesion on your master bus. So the takeaway here is really simple. Stop asking what's the best compressor and start asking what problem am I trying to solve. Now that you understand the different tools and what they do best, really the only limit is your own creativity. So get in there and start mixing.